A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and I'm joined, as always, by the shape-shifting Dracula to my high-gravity creature from Rigel 7, it's John Campbell.
Yes. Hello, everybody. You know, Gargoni, when we do this show, I mean, this is always a curiosity, right? It's always an oddity. We know that going in.
Yes.
I'm not generally this mad, though, when we start one of these. And I will say, this issue made me mad reading this last night. Like,
Now, why is that, John? Is it the, reckless disregard for characterization? Is it the absolute pointlessness of the story?
all of the above, sir. The thing about it is, especially at this point now, we make, we bag on this comic a lot because
We
of
do.
course.
I feel
But
bad about it sometimes. It's like kicking a
Well,
puppy.
that's the thing, because, yeah. Well, I don't know.
It can't defend itself.
Well, on that note, yes, it is similar. But the thing about
It's cute.
this
It doesn't know any better most of the time.
it does not. Well, but that okay. Thank you. That's the
Most
key.
of the
It does
time.
not know any better most of the time, and that's the thing is, as much as we rag on it, always with this sort of like, well, they were doing the best they could. They didn't know Star Wars like we know Star Wars, and so there's a lot of caveats we give it. I don't think an issue we've done has missed the mark as much of this across the board. Almost everything is wrong here. Like tone, characters, the kinds of stories that Star Wars is, the sort of world building Star Wars does. This is the worst issue of this comic, bar none. I'm sorry, I have to say.
Ooh, is it worse than the middle sections of the Han's Magnificent Seven right out the get-go? Because I feel like those were pretty rough.
I mean, at least in terms of just like not being Star Wars.
Sure. And again, that early in the book, there's a real uncertainty about what even is a Star Wars.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you've got this is post Empire. Are you kidding me? And this pains me to say because someone I love wrote this issue.
Yeah. We are talking about issue number 48 of the Marvel Comics Group original Star Wars run. This issue was released in June of 1981, and we have a slightly different creative team. We've got some familiar names, but one right at the top. This issue was written by the legend Larry Hama.
Larry Hama, the man who basically is essentially the creator of G.I. Joe, as we know it, at least, right?
He took a ragged concept of a line of toys and turned it into a mythos.
And is still to this day writing that saga, which is amazing, unheard of. He's on issue 300 whatever now. Across, the history of G.I. Joe, a real American hero, is insane, right? Like the idea that
Yes.
is just from every publisher it's jumped to. Now it's over at Image, and the numbering is just maintaining, and he's still writing it. We'll never see anything like that again in comics. It's amazing.
Yeah, and his Wolverine run also legendarily set the tone for that character.
No, this guy is a legend, one of the great writers in comics. And look, everyone has a bad day.
Right. But when you get Larry Hama and Carmine Infantino in a room together, boy, do they just have the worst day. Because, we've got Infantino on pencils again. We've got Carlos Garzon on inks. We've got Glennis Ween, Nate Oliver on colors, and Rick Parker on letters.
Yeah. Hey, boy. Boy. I mean, I will say this one I went into because I just looking at the cover.
Let's bring up that cover right now. The Third Law.
That you're like, Leia versus Vader. Well, automatically you're like, that's weird. And then, but I'm going like, okay, what's that going to be? Because, like I said, we've done enough. We've done 47 of these up to this point. I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what works and doesn't about this comic. However, I was not prepared for what I was about to have happen in this issue. Quite how these two end up in conflict. What that conflict is and how it is resolved, I was not ready for. Nothing could prepare me for issue 48.
This cover, let's start there, gives
Yeah.
us a scene that is somewhat of an echo of something we saw in Empire, where Leia drawing a blaster, shooting at Vader, and he's blocking it with the palm of his hand, a la the dinner scene from Empire, right?
Well, yeah, this definitely feels like, Empire gave us new imagery to play with, and that is definitely one of them, which is just the palm of his hand. Um,
Right. Even
which
if Leia is currently holding a Luger, it looks like.
Yeah. I love when and this is an Infantino thing, he puts hammers on laser guns. Like the idea that you would cock and then somehow it would have to hit the thing, that makes no sense.
Yeah, you gotta hit that firing pin on the laser.
Firing pin, fire the laser. Exactly, yeah. Somebody bent my firing pin.
But yeah, as far as covers go, this gives us a slight pause insofar as that it is Leia opening fire on Darth Vader himself. And that makes Star Wars fans in general go like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, because you're just like, well, and especially post-Empire, you're like, wow, so much has been revealed about Vader at this point that you're like, now every time post-Empire that you see Vader, you've got to think in a different context about this guy, right? It fundamentally
Right. He's not
changes
just the heavy anymore.
Right, yeah. And so you're like, oh, interesting. And Leia's shooting him. And by the way, a very New Hope looking Leia.
Yeah. Well, Larry Hama gets to know a single character design and sticks with it. The fact that he's even remotely redesigned Chewbacca to look closer to the movies is actually really impressive, considering his
Infantino, not
Infantino. Sorry, yes,
yeah, yeah. And there's also just appears to be a dead Hal Holbrook in between them.
Well, we'll get to him because look,
Yeah.
right off the bat, you talked about the kinds of stories that are Star Wars stories and what we have come to expect. What we're about to read is not a Star Wars story. This is a Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. story.
100%. Which I guess makes sense for Larry Hama. You don't think space opera when you think of his comic. He's an action guy.
He's an action guy. He's a twists and turns and double mask at the end of Mission Impossible, get pulled off, reveal kind of guy. And that's what this issue is.
I will say, as much as I just bagged out, I do see the subterfuge of this, the twist this tries to have, the clever plans revealed is very G.I. Joe. I have, as you know, read a lot of G.I. Joe. And that's a lot of what Larry Hama 80s G.I. Joe reads like, is oh, we fooled Cobra into doing this due to our whatever, masterminded plan that General Hawk came up with, Yeah.
Yeah. And that works in a fun military espionage story. And look, Star Wars can be a military espionage story. It absolutely can.
That doesn't inherently, discount a Star Wars story. That could be a Star Wars story. We've seen plenty of stuff. I think Rogue One is definitely that, right?
Absolutely. The problem is when you get into a situation in which any Star Wars character, because this is something I don't think we've seen in any of the movies, and it's very rare even in the extended universe, is the mastermind Star Wars character. Someone who's always so many steps ahead that no matter what happens that we think is going to beguile them, no, they've thought of this ahead of time.
Right. And I don't think of as powerful and awesome as Darth Vader is. He's not that guy.
And neither is Leia, importantly.
No, Leia's a military strategist and a diplomat. She is not, as is basically shown in this, she's basically a con artist. This whole thing feels like I'm reading The Sting in space or something like that, right? It's all but you thought, but we thought that that sort of which I love movies like that, but once again, weird for Star Wars and these characters specifically.
You could swap out Leia in this story for the Countess from Marvel Comics in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. books, and it would be the same story.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. That is often...
this could be Doctor Doom versus the Countess, and it could be the exact same story.
And that would probably be pretty good, actually. But the thing about that is a thing I feel like we come back to a lot of criticism of this comic, which is true, is a lot of Marvel stuff finds its way into Star Wars when they put in the comic book, and that's not always good. We
Well,
usually talk about in designs, but
yeah.
here very much yes in storytelling. This does feel like they just glommed Star Wars characters onto a script for a Nick Fury comic. Is right.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's talk
Right,
about it.
right off the bat, I appreciate Larry Hama as a writer for doing something we've never seen in this book before, and that's giving us a pronunciation guide.
Yeah, Argao is the name of this planet we're on.
Yeah, it's Argao. It's pronounced Argao. He says it right there in the word
Yeah,
bubble.
yeah, yeah. That is not something that because I believe we've struggled with some pronunciations. Because we don't know, and it's
So
all
this
made up.
is the third planet of the Zug system. Sure, why not?
Yeah. How often do we visit the Zug system and other Star Wars stuff here, Gownie?
Literally never.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Got it. Okay. Perfect. Just as I thought.
So we are introduced right off the bat to three characters we know and one we don't coming down the ramp of a spaceship. We've got
Yep.
Leia, we've got 3PO, we've got R2, and we've got Viscount Tardy.
Viscount Tardy, and we're on Argao, which is a bank planet.
It is a banking planet with strict laws governing weapons possession and precious metal exports.
Yes. And right off the bat, can I say my new favorite droid? Microphone droid.
It bothered the hell out of me that they spell Mike, M-I-K-E.
Right, not like an actual abbreviate, like it's a name, not the abbreviation for microphone.
If you're abbreviating microphone, M-I-C. But no,
Correct.
speaking to the mic, I was like, don't speak into me. I didn't give you permission.
Also, something you see a lot of in Star Wars, briefcases. Like carrying a
Oh,
briefcase.
we'll get into the diplomatic pouches.
Diplomatic pouches, yeah. But immediately we have this guy, who's the head of security here or whatever.
Yeah, he's stumbled out of a Flash Gordon comic.
Yeah, these are very non-Star Wars designs as well, as is the Viscount as well.
Yeah, the Viscount's kind of got like a tunic thing going on with some tights and just generic superhero boots and like a
Yeah.
sash coming down over his chest.
He looks like somebody who should be in the Marvel Battlestar Galactica comic, not the Star Wars comic, which also similarly has some insane designs.
Though, to be fair, Battlestar Galactica, the original 80s show, had some pretty wild like costuming choices.
Oh no, yeah, that the costuming of Battlestar Galactica was like hold my beer, Star Wars. So yes, they're coming in. They're going. I know it's your ship, and I can see you, but for the purposes of this, you have to speak your names. Require an identivoice record of your intentions.
I love that. Okay, this comic's throwing us in media res, but Larry Hama has constructed a plot device that's going to take up 2 pages in order to explain the premise of the book.
Yeah, great. And I love. And once again, Leia's just like, cool. Okay, here's what we're doing when we turn the page.
And she's like, I, Princess Leia Organa, am acting as a royal escort to Finance Minister Viscount Tardy, who has been charged by the Rebel Alliance with the task of procuring financing towards purchasing of a new squadron of X-Wing fighters. So,
Here's an interesting thing, and this comic made me think all kinds of stuff because like the Rebel Alliance, right? They're a rebellion, so conceivably to the world at large, if you're under Imperial rule, they are criminals, right?
correct.
So the idea that they're just very formally going like, we're going to go to this formal banking planet. I'm going to get money for this guy who's going to give me money so I can buy weapons to wage war against the government.
Everything in this issue implies that Argao is. See, he gave me a pronunciation guide. I'm already messing it up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Larry Hama.
It's still Great Bob Kurgani, so
Yeah, it implies that this planet is independent of both the Empire and Rebellion.
But also, yes, and even that being the case, though, is still like, don't you think if you're the rebels, maybe some of this is on the down low to a certain extent? Like the idea that just like we are coming here for money to buy weapons. Like
yeah,
it's
but
weird. It
from
makes it
what
seem like, it makes it seem like it's not an empire and a rebellion. It makes it seem like they're just two factions.
based on what we know by the end of this issue, though, it's all just a smoke show. It's all like
Yeah.
mirrors and misguides, and like everyone's trying to fool everybody. So
I mean,
I don't even
that's
know.
also part of the insanity of this thing too, is that literally you take all this time to set this up, and of course it's all a ruse anyway.
Yeah. No. So anyway, to get into like the main premise of this book is they're here to get financing, but there are like hyper specific rules on this planet about what you can take in and what you can take out.
Yes.
And everyone must follow this like very strict veneer of protocol in order to get what they want here, including the rebellion.
Because okay, so they explain they're here because basically it's like this guy's going to give the rebellion money to buy X-wings, okay?
Or the
That
planet is that we don't actually ever meet like any official representatives of Argu.
finance. Yeah, procure financing. So this guy's basically going to take out a loan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's weird. I mean, that's weird. Just that's insane. Anyway, this guy's like, "I'll foot the bill." Okay, look, the rebels don't have an account, so just put them on mine and give me the money, and I'll give it to them.
All right. Do you want the no prize answer for this?
Please, please, yes.
Okay. So, as of this point in like the Star Wars story, just let us assume that this is following the basic events of what we know about this era of Star Wars history.
Sure.
At this point, the Galactic Senate has been dissolved, but a lot of like really high level senators, including Mon Mothma, have basically declared that the Empire is like an illegal government, and so it's called the Galactic Civil War because there is literally another competing body trying to like wrestle control of the galaxy away, and that is the Rebel Alliance.
Okay, so
So
it is a more formal war at this
at,
point.
at, at this point in the Star Wars canon, yes.
Okay, okay. I mean, it's still the individual pieces of this are still insane, but I see
Right.
more of what they're trying to do. All right. That being said, let's. So the whole thing here is they basically have no security going into the planet, but
Right.
intense security coming out of the planet.
And we see a guy getting full body scanned as Leia and Tardy are coming in. This guy is getting full body scanned on his way out, just to make sure he's not trying to smuggle anything off of Argu.
Right, yeah, and so is this the customs check? Yes, this is the section for passengers departing. Our affluent economy makes it unprofitable to smuggle anything in, therefore entry procedure is lax. On the other hand, our enormous reserves of precious metals, which back our currency. So they've got some sort of equivalent of a gold standard going on, right? Then that's why they're a banking planet.
And let's not even begin to start talking about galactic finance and how it doesn't make sense.
But they're basically just going like, look, there's so much valuable shit on this planet that we have to be really rigid that no one's taking anything with them on the way out.
Well, it raises this issue of just like, okay, certain things are more valuable in certain places because of their scarcity, right? Oh, we freezing a little bit? John, can you hear me?
Hmm?
Can you hear me? No?
Are we back?
I think so. My internet cut out for a second.
Okay.
Let me get a timestamp there. All right, bring us back in.
So yeah, basically, they really have to control what's coming out of the planet because there's just too much to steal. The planet is basically like just super valuable into itself. It's nonstop stealable things.
Yeah, and again, if we start talking about like how finance works in a galactic civilization, we'll be here all day. That's why I really respect that Star Trek was just like, nah, fuck, we're post scarcity. Screw it,
Yeah.
no money. The people who care about money are bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, boom, there it is. Okay, so let's turn the page, and now we see formalities for entrance into the port of Argao are simple enough, and it's just customs as we know it. Cut to a guy in a total Imperial uniform, though. Talk about like maybe get some different designs.
Yeah, but he's got two pointy things on his hat, John.
Oh, right, it's totally different. Never mind. Forget it. Good lord.
So, yeah, we're talking to this customs guy, and he's like, do you have anything to declare? And Leia's like, nothing, except what's in this diplomatic pouch.
Yeah. And it's like, great. Okay, well, of course, diplomatic pouch is exempt from customs inspections. So,
Okay. So the Rebel Alliance is like an official entity that can declare diplomatic immunity, I guess.
yeah, which, like I said, all of this feels like vague at the very least. But it, like I said, like especially post Empire Strikes Back, they're really on the run. So it feels like that. How are they in this? I don't know. And once again, it is vague. I can't really bash on the comic for this because it's vague in the movies too.
Sure. But what we get is an introduction. These 3 pages are really just like, okay, we're setting up the rules of the scenario as they're playing out. The rules are you can't carry around weapons, you can't steal anything from the planet, and any violation of these laws will lead to death.
Can I say it? My favorite thing in this, though, these are the 3 laws of Argao, which are, by the way, all punishable by immediate execution, which I think is hilarious. This is
Correct.
some kind of Judge Dredd world. But
Well, if the only punishment is death, then you eliminate crime, John.
yeah, there actually is a Star Trek episode about that, of course, of Next Generation. It's called Justice. Law number 1: the unlawful removal of precious metals. Don't fucking do that. We've established that. Law number 2 is my favorite law: the unlawful possession of weapons by non-citizens. Conversely,
In parentheticals,
it is unlawful for citizens to be unarmed.
all citizens of Argu must carry weapons at all times.
That's crazy.
It's so you have the ability to kill outsiders if needs
And
be.
if you are caught without a gun, you will be killed.
Well, because you don't have a gun.
What? I read that and went, I need to know, forget anything else. I need to know everything about that. And then, of course, willfully conspiring to defraud, discredit, or deceive the Bank of Argyle. Whatever.
You know what's wild? That second law never comes up. Well, okay. It comes up in that, like, people... our 2 protagonist antagonists aren't technically allowed to have weapons, and it comes up a couple times. But the idea that, like, everyone else on this planet is armed never comes up. And it's actually... We'll check the art later, but, like, when they're at that butterfly party, I'm pretty sure isn't true.
Well, they're all just concealing really well.
Ah, okay. Got it.
Well, but you would think if it's law, wouldn't you be, like, prominently displaying your weapons?
It's just everyone's got a thigh holster. What are you going to do?
Hey, quick weapons check, everybody.
Just everyone holding up guns.
But but it does feel like there should be a scene where there's an incident and everybody pulls out a piece, you know?
Right, yeah.
No.
Just go full John Wick.
I just don't understand why Hama added the second parenthetical part. It's like, just leave it at the unlawful possession of weapons by non-citizens. That's all that matters to the story. But he adds this other wrinkle that just, once again, blew my mind reading it last night. I'm like, wait a minute, did I read that right? What? All
And of
right.
course, the third law of Argu is willfully conspiring to defraud, discredit, or deceive the Bank of Argu.
Which also is a whole thing about this planet, right? Is it's a banking planet. So like literally the Bank of Argyle seems like the bank is the planet. I mean, it's that classic sci-fi thing. Both Star Wars and Star Trek, amongst other things, do this where it's like a planet is one thing when you think about it. It's an entire planet. But a planet is basically a city in everything else, which is always fascinating to me. Anyway, so they're like, great, welcome to Argyle. And then, what's this?
Uh, this is the worst part of this issue is Vader in every... Vader is really
Vader,
bad in this issue.
this is this is almost a criminal offense against the character of Darth Vader, right? He is
It,
nothing like Darth Vader at any point in this. Maybe.
he is Cobra Commander. He is like Doom at his worst. He is
Yep.
like name a despotic, over the top tyrant.
Yeah.
And look, Vader is a despotic tyrant,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he isn't the kind of conspiring madman that we see in this issue.
You don't get a lot of Vader just going, "Oh, hello, everybody."
Argu is a dangerous planet, princess.
Yeah.
Horrible accidents may occur, especially in light of the ban on defensive weaponry.
Yeah, I don't think Vader is the kind of guy who issues threats like, "It'd be a shame if something happened to you."
The
And then
the
her just-
response from Leia is what baffled me the most.
Yep. Especially when you consider she's gone through both New Hope and Empire of dealing with this guy.
Darth Vader, what brings you to Argu? Checking up on your secret numbered accounts?
That's
Okay.
right. Vader's got offshore accounts, not
I
paying
was-
taxes on those, baby.
Do you think Vader has an income?
No, I mean, like, yeah, you see, there's a wild question. Is he paid a salary? Ooh, Good Friday, it's payday.
I always assumed that Vader just has unlimited resources. Like, he can ask for anything in the Empire and it's just given to him.
Yeah, I don't think of Vader being like, I better store something away for a rainy day.
Does Vader have a fun money account?
Well, Vader, because here's the thing: does Vader?
I'm
have
saving up for a jet ski vacation.
Because like the way that's I always think about. I love the introduction of him in Rogue One, and that is what I think about. He's basically in a tube of liquid until he's needed, kind of, right? Like he's not like this guy doesn't have a life. He doesn't take off the armor and go like, I better relax on a beach somewhere. No, Vader's like, I'm not working. I'm going to go to my creepy castle on the volcano planet and lounge in goo.
At best, in Vader's free time, he's scheming to A, kill the Emperor, or B, kill the Emperor.
He's he's a workaholic. This guy's always working. Like the gears are always turning. Yeah, he doesn't act like Vader. And Leia is so casual with this guy, who is at this point, at least, what's the word I'm looking for? Complicit in the destruction of her entire planet. I mean, technically Tarkin gave the order, but he was like, do it. Good.
And look, she's very, like, confronty with Vader at the beginning of A New Hope, because that's really their only interaction throughout the series. That and, like, Vader torturing her with Dr. Ball.
Yes. Yes, but then after Empire, right? Where he freezes the man she loves, and it's like and presumably there's years of fighting in between, of course. She wouldn't just be like, Darth Vader, what's your dumbass doing here?
So yeah, right off the bat, we're into character assassination, and let's really double down on that, because Darth Vader is not joined by stormtroopers. He's instead joined by the three stooges of criminal henchmen.
My God, these guys. Because he's like, also, I brought my boys with me. It's a boys trip.
I come to argue on a diplomatic mission for the Empire. My retinue is small, but my needs are Spartan.
I just like you don't
Also,
see the word you used a lot.
you also don't see the word Spartan used by Darth Vader in a galaxy far, far away
No,
because of the
there's a lot of weird choices of words in this one.
yeah. Anyway, he introduces his porter, his secretary, and his valet, which are in turn a large creature from the Black Lagoon, a Dracula,
Yeah.
and a Quasimodo looking motherfucker.
Yeah. The guy in the back really does look like the Gill Man and Killer Croc had a baby.
Yeah.
And then they put a wrestling belt on him.
The guy in the middle is just straight up Dracula, like widow's peak,
Straight
pointy
up.
ears.
Yeah. He's off-brand Dracula, so Universal doesn't sue.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy in the front that's a pretty lazy design.
He looks like a man made out of poop.
I don't know any other way to say it.
He's a brown skinned with like a lumpy head, and there's just like globs of stuff on his forehead.
And then just a couple of snaggle teeth.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, if you will excuse me, I wish to continue through custom. Vader going through customs, man.
Vader with a diplomatic pouch.
This panel of him daintily holding up his little briefcase. Can't look in here. Diplomatic pouch.
If the Empire is going to send somebody to go on a diplomatic mission to a banking planet with strict rules of conduct, you don't send Darth Vader.
What I don't understand is you could do this exact same issue, but shouldn't this be like some sniveling Imperial senator guy or something? I mean, there's any number of these guys running around Star Wars. This should
be Senator Greyshade.
100%. Some at least somebody like that. That's the biggest thing is like, why is this Vader?
Because Vader is the only face of a bad guy. Yeah.
They want to put Vader in it, is exactly what it is. And then Leia's snarky, nothing in there but paper. By the way, the concept of there being paperwork in Star Wars also just baffled me. But I'm just barely done the paper in my office. And a change of armor, right? Don't tell me it's a secret. Okay, this guy is your mortal enemy. Like, this is not just like we banter at work while we're rivals. This guy is the scum of the universe. Like,
did you not? Yeah, again, this is the guy who froze the love of your life like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just like, and this retinue of yours doesn't fool me for a microsecond. I love where it's just like, this is clearly the biggest group of scumbags you could find.
So the guy made of poop is a telekinetic, the Dracula is a shapeshifter, and the Gill Man is a high gravity creature from Rigel 7.
By the way, Rigel 7 is a total Star Trek planet.
I was going to say, isn't Rigel 7 a Star Trek planet?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not. I don't mean that. It's literally a Star Trek planet. There are a number of, moon over Rigel and stuff like that. There's Rigel is talked about a lot in Star Trek. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. Anyway, each is a known member of the Assassin's Guild.
Oh yeah, each of these guys is a member of the Assassin's Guild, which is like the Bounty Hunters Guild, but there's no bring them in alive option.
Yeah. They just kill. That was my mistake last time. I hired bounty hunters. Now it's just straight up assassins all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
are these three a response to like the bounty hunters that Vader hires in Empire?
They don't do much better in this.
Yeah, that's fair.
They must be, but yeah. And then furthermore, she's about to lay in something else. Also, I like Leia's pink eyes.
Well, because they painted the background pink and then drew Leia on top of it, and they didn't bother to recolor her eyes.
100%. Yes.
It is the same color as the background, yeah.
Because she does not have pink eyes, I don't think, anywhere else. By the way, but then, smuggler alert, Telly Savalas is trying to get gold out. By the way, but an insane plan. This man has gold implants on his 5th and 6th ribs. What a scheme!
When he's saying, like, no, I can explain, like, I thought he was about to say, like, those are medical, like, implants made of metal. They just happen to be gold.
Well, I will say that might be a reason why you should scan them coming in as well. The fact that they're just like, we don't even look them over coming in. If that guy did have that coming in for all that, but then he just bolts.
Also, they use gold as, like, the precious metal that is talked about, at least in this page.
Yeah.
Do you know what the atomic symbol for gold is, John?
Not off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've looked at a periodic table.
It is AU, Argu.
Oh, shit. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Also, it's another thing where it's like, it's Star Wars and it's just gold.
Yeah.
You want everything in There's a few things in this like that, and this comic drives me insane a lot like that, where you're just like, why is it just things from our world? The thing I like about Star Wars is there's always like a Star Wars version of stuff, you know?
One of my favorite things from, like, newer Star Wars was when, in the first season of The Mandalorian, they're, like, paying Mando, and, like, some of it is Mon Calamari money, which is, like, a totally weird, like, jelly coin that he hands over.
Love that. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, that's great. Yeah, that's just like, I want everything in Star Wars to be a little weird. You know, Han doesn't play poker, he plays sabacc, you know, stuff like that, right? It's not. Anyway, this dude bolts. And then, okay, smuggler alert, citizens, stand by your weapons. Anyone sees this guy, anyone, take him out.
And on the next page, he's kazapped real good as his smoking corpse is laid out before Vader and Leia.
They didn't even let this guy try to explain.
No.
And Vader just going, justice is swift on Argal. Anyway.
And then Leia's rejoinder of justice is a double-edged sword? What does that mean?
I don't know. No, that doesn't make any sense, because that would imply the people putting out justice are also getting cut.
Yeah.
That's not the situation. That's not a good comeback, Leia. But and then she just a double-edged sword, Lord Vader, and then Vader says, "Except on Argal, princess. Except on Argal." I don't understand that back and forth.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's just banter for banter's sake. And then he's like, "All right, boys, let's roll."
Yeah. So Vader and his crew leave. 3PO asking the logical question here of why on earth would the Emperor send Vader to deal with this? And Leia...
Yeah, it's the only moment in this comic where I went like, oh, okay, I guess they're going to maybe address that this is weird.
No. Vader's here to mess up the Rebels' plans, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
also, it's another thing where 3PO and R2, because they have to be in every issue for some reason, you just think about, these guys are all over the place.
3PO's getting those frequent flyer miles, I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he's like, yeah, and so they talk about, like, well, we can only get the loan with this guy, so obviously he must, with, was it Viceroy, or what, it's not Viceroy, because that's Vicement, what's his name? Viscount.
Viscount, yeah.
Yeah, Viscount.
Tardy. Yeah.
Tardy, yeah. Also, could he? I don't like Tardy's a weird name for him too.
Yeah.
But basically, just like if we kill that guy, then the whole deal's off.
Why?
Yeah, well, because but this whole thing too is like it's gonna take time. Like there's so much stuff where it's just like this guy. We have to use this guy to get the loan, but it's gonna take a few days, and nothing better happened to this guy.
Because without him, no one else knows the procedures of this planet well enough to actually get the loan processed, I guess?
Yes, yeah, it's weird. Anyway, let's go to a space highway.
Yeah, we love a good space highway.
Now we're in the jets.
Obviously, this planet isn't as advanced as Coruscant, because they just have their space highways sans highway.
Right, yes, exactly. These still have tracks that the cars are, like, hovering on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
And
here they go.
as they're driving, the soundtrack from Matrix Revolutions turns on, and Mona Lisa Overdrive kicks in.
Yep, it does.
Or sorry, no, Matrix Reloaded. The freeway fights in Matrix Reloaded.
Yes, it's
those the second and third movie kind of blend together for me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So they're like, all right, Here's what we're up to today. This morning we have a reception at the Garden of Butterflies. At noon, review the Home Guard maneuver. Why aren't we just going right to the bank and getting that loan if it's this important and this guy's whole... Anyway.
Well, but she follows up by saying this afternoon we have the ceremonial presentation of collateral.
Yeah, so not only is this a banking planet, but like there's like ceremony to the bank. This is a horrible institution.
Oh, this is absolutely, like, in a larger context, this is a horrible, like, libertarian dystopia.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's just, yeah, the horrors of reading the ceremonial presentation of collateral. Ugh.
Well, and the way the, like, port people were talking at the beginning of the issue made it sound like they treat banking like a religion here. So there's all this ceremony and process built into every step of it.
Yeah, which is really weird. And then, but what's this on the overpass? It's Darth Vader and his retinue.
I love that, like, on a walking path above the highway is just Vader and 3 of his goons just strolling through.
Because this is an insane plan. He's just like, all right, big guy, ball on him.
Also, how did they get here so quick?
Because they're in. So they must have. This implies they took a different hover car out to here before them so they could wait around. That's the only way they got out here fast enough, right?
Yeah.
Or they beamed in. I guess we're. Yeah. And then, oh no, I doubt that a fall could hurt him much. Yes, but he could ruin our day as we turn the page. And yes, womp.
Yeah, Triple X Gillman is landing on the hood of their car and ripping it apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he might as well. This guy actually never says any words or makes any sounds.
Nope.
I could have used an oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so he womps and then rips.
I do love that good, like, long rip.
Yeah. How you doing? Yeah, anything.
I will say, I mean, this is very much an Infantino alien. He's got, like, the weird fish lips and, like, but otherwise is just a big dude.
Yeah, Green Lantern would have totally fought this guy, you know.
Yeah, 100%. But I do like the dynamic, like, jump, land, like, ripping. I think this is a good, well-constructed page.
I think that the actual, like, motion of the action stuff is all totally fine. It's just the context, of course, around it and the story is completely insane. But yeah,
sure. But we've ripped on Infantino in the past about, like, his action sequences.
No, I think this is one of the better ones. I think the speed lines of him falling and then landing. I like the way his like feet embed into the metal.
Yeah. So he plants himself so that he can, like, grab the car and rip it apart.
And then the rip is great. The way it's following the metal being torn apart and the twisted metal of it is all good. The only note there, of course, is that weird Leia face. Yeah,
Leia's eyebrows are kind of, like, creeping up towards her hairline there.
I get that. Anyway, though, we turn the page and 3PO, quick, the diplomatic pouch.
Yeah, what's worse? So I just complimented the action because on this page it gets real bad real fast.
Yeah, he's making a move towards Tardy, and then Leia pulls out a remote control for a television, and
vaps him.
Vaps him into what appears to be non-existence. We will find out what actually happened to him, but
yeah, okay.
The way that drawing is done, it looks like he disintegrates.
It looks like they're turning him into particles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the next page, and okay. So what happened?
I have the exact same reaction, but just once again, it is just officer.
Vader calling the cops is one of the most frustrating pieces of dialogue.
And he's doing it like, you over there, those two, God. Officers, I demand that you take action against these lawbreakers immediately.
Vader is the worst member of your HOA, calling in noise complaints endlessly.
I mean, that is the thing, yeah. Vader's whole tactic in this is just like, oh, I read the rule book.
Yeah. Like, In this clause, we can see that you're not allowed to do this. Gotcha, ha ha.
God damn it. I mean, yeah, it is just like, all right, I'll either kill him or I'll get them all arrested. Either way, Vader wins, baby. Uh, yeah, this criminal has, once again, as I would have also thought from the images, this criminal has vaporized my porter with a, by the way, proscribed energy weapon. Also feels like a weird.
As opposed to prescribed.
Yeah, it's a proscribed. And then, of course, Dracula's going, yeah, I saw it. That's right. They murdered him.
That's not what Dracula sounds like, John. You know it.
Off-brand Dracula does, though.
Okay. That's Count Chocula, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
also,
this is Maury Applebaum, the Jewish Dracula.
At least these officers stopped to actually ask any questions as opposed to the Port Authority, which just murked that dude.
Is this true? Are you in possession of an illegal weapon? Hey, come on now.
No, officers, I wouldn't think of breaking your precious law.
I also read the rule book.
So Leia says she has a standard model gravitational field disruptor available at any spaceport duty-free shop.
Insane. An insane line.
The idea that Star Wars has technology to manipulate the relative density of an object, let alone a person.
Why isn't this used more then? That's pretty powerful.
It's incredibly powerful because what she did with this little remote control is crank up the relative density of the high gravity creature, the XL Gillman, so that he plummeted through the planet's crust towards the core.
Yep. And he'll be, he'll be fine. He'll make it back to the surface in a few years.
I mean,
Jesus.
She killed this guy, like straight up.
Absolutely.
But not with a weapon.
Yeah, and a technicality, because it's not technically a weapon, then it's fine. They'll let it slide. Yeah, well played. That's a loophole.
And one of the worst images ever, an impotent Vader just shaking his fists kind of to his side, going,
He's a real, like, 80s teen comedy villain in this, where he's like, no, you.
Beta House.
That's exactly it. This is Angry Dean Vader. Ooh, yeah, the motion lines indicating him actually shaking his fist like, ooh, you.
I'm going to put the Rebel Alliance on double secret probation.
One more mistake and you're out of this college.
It's demerits for the lot of you.
That's it. I'll see you expelled, Princess Leia. Also, Leia's robes got real clingy all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, Infantino decided that Leia should be a little bit more curvaceous and that her breasts should be, like, wildly in different directions.
Well, I was going to say, though, what I love is Infantino trying to draw curvaceous, and it's still, like, weirdly pointed and, like, sharp.
Yeah, well.
Her body's so strange. And, okay, my other favorite is... If you look in the background, the smoking crater where the guy got sent to the planet, and just the cop going, what the hell happened?
Or just like, how do I fill this out? Like, what does the paperwork for this say? I don't even know.
And we're all about paperwork in this issue. And off they go. All right. Well, it is just like, okay, well, I guess she answered all my questions, so you're free to go, ma'am.
Yeah. And then we get Infantino just like, boy, he's back on his weird white Vader face again.
Oh God! And also, look at the hood on his helmet there, like the little drapery.
Oh, it gets real swoopy in the back.
Yeah, I was going through my mullet phase.
This is a Vader mullet.
It's the '80s, and it's the '80s. I'm trying something.
He's trying a thing.
And the vivid red glass of his eyes, too, is also interesting.
I really like it when they have the red in the Vader eyes.
I like a little red. This is maybe too much red for me. Each their own. But anyway.
So then we get Dollar Store Dracula questioning Vader. Saying, was it wise to participate in such a blatant attack so early in the game, Lord Vader?
And then I do think the most Vader line might be silent, shapeshifter. I'm not even going to call you by name. You're just shapeshifted to me. Then,
none of these guys get names.
Nope. Then, though, something I can't imagine Vader doing is referring to himself in the third person. The Lord Vader does not discuss strategy with his hirelings. You-
I like Vader including the definite article in his own name. He's
the
the
Lord
Lord
Vader.
Vader.
The Lord Vader. Nobody ever gets that right. They just say Lord Vader, but it's the Lord Vader. That's right. And then I like that the telepath is upset. Hirelings, we are bonded agents of the assassin. Do you need to see my license, sir?
Yeah, we're professionals.
You deserve a modicum of respect. You are professional pawns. This is actually the most Vader he gets in that is just choking this dude out.
Yeah, and look, I love just in isolation the panel of Vader choking a Dracula.
Yeah, and also the guy getting like a little more vampy when that happens, like you'd think he's hissing or something, you know?
Yeah,
That's
and like you see his big long fangs. Why is this? Why did they make the shapeshifter look like Dracula, John?
I have no idea. That is such a. It is one of the weirdest choices here. There's a lot of weird stuff in this, but this is so weird.
Yeah.
But the other thing about this is I have questions too about like he's obviously referring to chess, which we know kind of exists in Star Wars, but is it literally chess and they're literally called pawns?
Sure.
All right, I guess we have no.
It has to, or else this makes zero sense.
Yeah. And pawns are sacrificed for the benefit of the important pieces. You know, like the Lord Vader.
So, Lord Vader has just turned to these two guys and said, "Look, I'm going to get you killed."
Yeah. And you're
after
gonna
they've just said, like, "Look, we're not just your hirelings; we're professional assassins." Why wouldn't these two just dip right now?
I know, yeah, they have no because they're not part of the alliance. They have no reason to get and this is not a Vader who really seems like he's gonna kill anyone. So
Yeah, well.
this Vader I'm not too scared of. Also,
Meanwhile,
very Marvel Comics the lines on his gloves.
oh yeah, the like ringed lines, yeah.
Yeah, that's very like 70s, 80s Marvel. Anyway, later that morning in the Garden of Butterflies.
Hooray, butterflies!
Butterfly in the sky.
I can fly twice as high.
Yeah. Take a look, R2. It's in a book. R2, though, seems baffled by this because he's going, blip?
Well, R2 doesn't understand beauty.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But also, it's another thing, once again, in Star Wars where it's like, so they're just butterflies? You know, like we have?
But they're like space butterflies.
I know, but they should be called something.
No, they're butterflies.
Yeah, all right, whatever. Okay, but here we go. How about a little 3PO history that makes no sense now?
Oh, yes. In fact, one of my employers was a collector of butterflies. He had me programmed to recognize every known species in this quadrant.
So that must have been Bail Organa, right? Because he only has a couple employers.
Ooh, that's a
That
good
we
one.
know now, right?
Because he passes from, let's see.
Anakin,
Well, okay, there is a window of time
Uh-huh.
between episodes 1 and 2 in which 3PO's history is a little shaky. He's with Anakin's mom, obviously, the whole
Yeah.
time, but then,
And then
he's with the Lars family.
Right. So maybe it was the Lars family that wanted.
So
to buy.
Owen Lars collected butterflies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like he goes from Anakin to stays with is it Shmi?
Shmi.
Shmi, who then and then you know she's taken, so he's with the Lars family. Then back to Anakin. Or
Kind of,
Padme.
he's more with Padme, yeah.
Yeah, with Padme. Then Bail Organa. Then
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah, which
The original.
actually, now that we've laid that timeline out, I guess if we assume Owen Lars is a droid racist, which we can basically assume everyone is until proven otherwise.
We start with that. That's our starting point. Yeah.
Owen is like Shmi was his actual birth mom?
Owen? No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just asking. I don't actually know off the top of my head.
No, the timeline doesn't work on that because he's an adult.
That's
in
true.
episode two. It was a second marriage for
Sure. Clegg Lars.
Plague. Yeah, like I never would have been able to come up with that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm here for, John.
Why would I? He's in like one scene.
But anyway, it does imply that 3PO was around Owen Lars for a number of years, at least.
And then Owen doesn't recognize him in New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Well, again, let us just assume that Owen Lars has no respect for droid identifications.
Yeah, whatever. One unit's the same as the other.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what did he need 3PO for, by the way, on
to
his...
talk to moisture evaporators.
Okay, done. All right, you got it.
He wanted to know if he spoke Bocce, the basic programming language of moisture evaporators.
I guess that's true, yeah. Weird.
So, they're in this garden with all these butterflies. Plenty of people walking around here. None of them with weapons. I'm just saying, are any of these people local? Who knows?
They're all visitors. Anyway, that will make things much easier this evening at the presentation of collateral. We never get to see that, by the way. I wanted to see the, like, formally getting on your knee, bending a knee, and presenting the deed to your house.
So, then we get Vader strolling into the butterfly garden.
What's up, everybody? Who's ready to party?
Vader, too, is present, though few notice the furtive figure lurking in the Sith Lord's shadow. Fewer still notice the faint aurora caused by the ionization.
As he turns into a butterfly.
Yes. I'm sorry, that was me stammering because, like...
Because what response is there to that? Dracula, we're used to Dracula turning into a bat, sometimes a wolf, sometimes
Mist,
just straight
yeah.
mist. Yeah. But this is the first I've seen Dracula turn into a butterfly. And as you know, if you listen to Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, I've seen pretty much every interpretation of Dracula at this point. I'm something of an expert.
At this point, yes, I would say you are definitively somebody who has seen more of Dracula than maybe one should.
Oh, definitely. I'm not okay. Like the shapeshifter lights momentarily, concentrating, observing. In a flash of bright wings, and a flash of bright wings, and it is airborne, an anonymous flutter in a crowded sky. Go, butterfly, do my bidding.
The idea of Vader holding up a single finger and a butterfly alighting on his gauntleted fist is so strange.
Any kind of, like, it's the same thing with, like, the diplomatic badge. Any kind of, like, delicate or dainty move from Vader is so weird in my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just think of if Vader moves, it's very much with purpose, right?
It is brutal, direct, kind of, like, efficient movement.
Right, and so you're just like, I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
So, 3PO and Leia are nearby and they're talking until 3PO, using the knowledge we just established in the last page, say, hey, wait a minute, that's no butterfly.
That's some bullshit, man. Butterflies are such lovely creatures, princess. They don't crawl into vents and clog valves or nibble wiring.
But on the next page, he identifies the shapeshifter, but he says, that bright red specimen behind the Viscount Tardy is from the Antares system, one of the few species equipped with a stinger, and the only one that secretes deadly nerve toxin.
Okay, so... yeah. Okay. Is this the shapeshifter?
Yes.
So not only does the shapeshifter take on the shape of something, he takes on its, like, nerve toxin and stuff?
Yes.
That's pretty powerful.
Let's not even talk about weight ratios and excess mass, John.
That's... By the way, if you want to hear more about that, that's definitely a plug for Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, because we are always furious at things changing mass when shape-shifting and stuff like that. It often makes no sense.
One of my favorite things in the... there's a long list of favorite things, but a fun bit in the Discworld novels is when we start dealing with vampire characters, they can turn into lots of bats that are the equivalent of their body weight.
See, that makes sense. It's like when Dracula turns into a bunch of rats, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that tracks, I guess.
That is
And then
the logic of that, putting that kind of logic to something very magical,
and of course there's fun bits where like, well, what if one of the bats goes missing? What happens then?
Is there just a part of you that's gone?
Yeah. Until you can track that bat down.
What happened to my other finger?
Oh, I'm missing a bat.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they didn't all come back in. Anyway, but R2, use your fire retardant spray, which appears to be more of a laser blast.
Yeah, R2's just firing bolts of energy out of his face.
I know. I'm like, that's fire retardant spray? Because I would think that would be like a fire extinguisher. Like it would go, and like a cloud would come out. No.
Yeah. Also, Leia's pupils crazy dilated in that inset panel.
Hey, man, who knows what she's been sipping on in there, right?
She's got these tiny little pupils and these huge irises.
And then, oh, how dreadfully clumsy of me as she crunches and kills the Dracula, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Lord Vader, I've made such a mess. Could you be a dear? And once again, her talking like this is so off. God damn it. Because she's no longer playing diplomat anymore. In New Hope, she's playing diplomat, right? For a while. Now, we're mid-war at this point. So now it's like, if I see Darth Vader, I kill him, right? Like, I mean, that's why I was talking. I love in Empire when he blocks the shot, because it is just like on sight. Han Solo is just like, die. That is what you do when you see Darth Vader.
The bottom right panel of this page with Leia's shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Or the panel before it, the middle panel of Vader looking down like, no.
Yeah, dejected Vader is never a good look.
No, because Vader's the kind of guy, and you see this, where even if he's defeated in a moment, he's just resolute. He's just still like,
That's part of what makes him scary, right?
Well, because it's the whole thing. You never read anything on him.
Yeah.
He's always just stoic and still. But here he's like, no, I like that guy.
Well, and it makes some of the best Vader performances, whether it's Hayden Christensen or, oh my God, I'm blanking on the actor's name. Yeah, David Prowse. Like, it's all in, like, body language, right? It's all in stance and, like, the clenching of a fist and, like, the movement of a shoulder.
Absolutely. And it's always something where I feel like David Prowse, I'm glad we did mention him, because, like, that guy does a lot, even though it's just like, isn't he just the guy in the suit? It's like, yeah, but that's a whole performance. It's the same thing with, like, the Jasons as well. Like, fans of the Friday the 13th franchise have favorite Jason actors because people do play it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with, like, Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca, right? Like, anyone else in it, literally he trained the guy who does it now, because, like, there is a specific way to play Chewbacca. And it's sort of one of those things where if it's wrong, you'll know it. Oh, suddenly you're like, he moves weird. Yeah. Anyway, and then, her just going, Lord Vader. Got him.
Leia being the, like, cat at the end of the table with the other person at the end screaming at the cat, like, meme, just reads so strange to me.
He also is a very resolute character. Mm-hmm. It's what we... No, both Leia and Vader are so off character in this. It is crazy to me. I said it was infuriating to read last night. Later, at a different sort of entertainment, what is this? They just go out and see a battle?
Yeah, they're watching some war games.
And then,
on a freaking platform in the middle of a... I don't know, they're watching a Civil War reenactment? I have no idea what's happening here.
That's kind of what it feels like. This, though... I feel like we must share our love of Vader going, bah!
How dull.
How dull. The
bankers of Argyle think they think to deter aggression by demonstrating their military might to visiting government officials. This display is ludicrous to one who has destroyed entire planets. Ah, but the princess is quite aware of that.
Reaction from Leia. To him just going, remember how I killed your entire homeworld?
Remember, remember how you screamed, "They're defenseless. Please don't kill them."
Yeah, remember how that's the most traumatic thing that has ever happened to anyone?
Yeah, I mean, look, Star Wars has a long history of never addressing the destruction of Alderaan ever
Sure.
again. There are good books and like comics that do
Yeah.
it, but nowhere in the franchise does Leia stop and go, "My God, they killed my world."
It's true. It's true. However, they also aren't flippant about it either like this.
True. Yes.
And that's a big difference to me because it is always sort of a thing people bring up is like, why don't they bring it up more? But yeah, here it's just like, right, you know what that's about, princess. Oh, burn on you.
Yeah. So, and then
Yeah.
Vader keeps talking when he says, "By the way, Princess, I understand that your loan may not be finalized until tomorrow."
Yeah. You know very well that the verification of collateral is it's a painstaking process involving multiple assessors and appraisers. God, this sounds like a nightmare to do business with these people.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then Vleep, which
Yeah,
I
at the
guess
bottom panel
is
here,
upper.
our weird poop monster is doing some psychic stuff.
Yeah. Vleep. High overhead, a tactical fighter. Okay, so we're on the next page. Fires its payload of low yield anti personnel missiles. In order to move. So basically, he's using his mental powers to aim these missiles at this guy.
This raises so many questions about what the war game they're watching actually is.
Because
If this missile is a real missile.
fire? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just
Because
like
usually,
he's just like,
yeah, he's controlling the missile with his psychic powers. And the comic goes into, with its captioning, this idea that like the telekinetic can basically inhabit these objects in order to control them, to become
which
one with the missile.
once again, these guys are so powerful.
Also, it implies that this isn't the Force.
No, I know it definitely isn't. I mean, at least
Have we ever seen a telekinetic that isn't using the Force in Star Wars?
no, I know because like basically anything beyond human ability is the Force in Star Wars, right?
Presumably, yeah. Anything that
As
isn't.
we've seen it presented, is on
Yeah.
some level, whether you're a Jedi or a Sith or not, you are tapped into the Force in some way. So this guy really has to be using the Force, whether they name it or not, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, I guess. I wish they went into that. But no,
Yeah,
he's some of the weird lumps on his head have psychic powers, I guess.
yeah, because well, the weird thing though too is it's not telekinesis. He's become the missile, which is insane.
So it's technopathy, technically.
Because they talk about he can hear the click of the relays as the fins alter the course, smell the gyro lubricants as they stabilize the airframe, taste the acidic bite of explosives in the warhead, and he must see. And then presumably this is his vision because I'm going like, where are these crosshairs coming from?
That's what the missile is seeing, I guess?
Yeah, I get, yeah. Just moving in on this guy's head. Once again, if I just took out these panels, you'd be like, this is definitely a Nick Fury comic, when it's just a scope zeroing in on a guy.
Yeah. But then there's a thoom. The missile strikes. But what's this? It didn't blow up the Viscount. It blew up the psychic guy.
Okay, this is the single dumbest thing in this issue. And there's a lot of dumb shit in this issue. And you're frozen again.
Am I? Damn it. Hmm. Maybe now?
All right, there we go.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
It's my internet. I know it is. I just don't know why it's doing it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I think it's like my Wi-Fi antenna.
All right.
Okay, I got a timestamp.
Okay.
So yeah, this is of the dumb things in this issue. This is one of the dumbest ones because
Oh my god. Literally. So yeah, boom! It hits the telepath guy, and then, oh Jesus Christ, the dialogue is horrible. The explanation is ridiculous, but oh blast, R2, your display circuits are malfunctioning again. How long have you been projecting a hologram of the Viscount, or is it Viscount? Viscount?
I always pronounce it Viscount.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Over Lord Vader's valet. What? For as long as you've been projecting a hologram of the valet over Tardy? Sorry, they just don't make droids like they used to. A man's dead.
Two things. One, how is R2 displaying two holograms in opposite directions at the same time?
Never seen him do that, ever. Also,
Two,
yeah, I think I
two,
know. Yeah.
Star Wars holograms notoriously not in color.
Yep, that was exactly the point I was going to make.
Or very rarely, or in like scan. You can always tell it's a hologram.
Star Wars, you instantly know Star Wars holograms are very specific looking. And once
Yeah.
again, they no longer have the excuse of, well, it's just one movie. So no, it's two movies now.
Yeah, and it's like specifically, we get some like decent hologram work in Empire. Like we get the Emperor's head. We get that one scene where they're going through the asteroid field, and the the Imperial captains are like going. Bah!
We also pretty pointedly and famously, people might remember, definitely get R2's projection of a hologram in the first movie. It's a pretty important scene. And what
Yeah.
that
Like what R2's projections look like are pretty specific.
this is insane. Also, if the guy was controlling it with his mental powers, how did it confuse him?
How did he not notice that the Viscount he was aiming for was standing next to Lord Vader?
Or that he knows who he... Oh, for God's sake.
How does a missile go off in the middle of this crowd and not hit anyone else?
Well, yeah, the way it lands, it lands and it hits just him, and the explosion doesn't ricochet out at all to affect the other people beyond, like, maybe some minor... I guess R2's knocked off balance a little bit.
There's not even really an explosion. There's an impact. There's a thoom, but all
I
that's left is a smoking patch on the
I
ground.
have questions about these missiles. And then once again, Vader walking down these steps going, "Ooh, curses."
Yeah, this is really bad.
This is a horrible issue of this comic. Like I said,
But then on the next page, we finally cut to the chase.
that night. Okay. Once again, like the paperwork, in comes 3PO holding a written letter on paper. Princess Leia, Lord Vader had a message delivered to my droid mechanic. He wants to meet with us tonight at the old spaceport.
You know, the old spaceport.
It's where all the kids hang out, down at the old spaceport.
They've got a sign up that says condemned, but nobody listens.
It's where everyone goes to smoke weed. And hook up. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's just the idea of like Vader's like, hey, give this note to that droid.
Do you like me? Check yes, check no.
No, maybe. He's more predictable than I thought. The abandoned spaceport would have been my choice as well.
3PO asking the real questions. We're not going, are we?
Yeah. And Leia's like, don't worry, by the way, yawn, so tired, it's late. You're not, but Viscount Tardy, R2, and I will be there right on schedule. We have other plans for you. Midnight. Which, once again, time in Star Wars, they just don't often address. But the idea of it's midnight on Argao.
It's the middle of the night, sure.
Yeah, midnight at the old spaceport.
Vader has lost his patience with this.
This is
And so
bullshit, man. My hands have been tied for too long.
this is the equivalent of like you, me, flagpole, 3
Yeah.
p.m. after school. We're
Let's
doing
settle
this.
it. Let's settle it once and for all. Right?
Vader with an extremely wide face in this bottom panel saying, but the time for subtlety is past. My primary mission is to stop the loan. You know that I can destroy you as easily as I lift a finger. I have no wish to tread on the Emperor's delicate diplomatic toes, but if I am forced to do so, I shall.
Which also, famous diplomat Palpatine. Like, at this point, he's got an iron clenched fist on the galaxy, but he's just like, could you just imagine being like, don't step on any toes, Vader.
The first instance of us learning about like the machinations of the larger galactic empire are we've destroyed any semblance of democracy. We shall rule through fear.
He's just like, whoa, 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 where are you going, Argyle? Ooh, you better be careful. Tread lightly with those people. Don't make waves, Vader. Once again, also sending Vader for like delicate negotiation kind of stuff. Brilliant.
Yeah, this is something you send Thrawn to, not Vader.
But I also just like this idea of like, yeah, go there and murder everybody, but like, be cool about it.
Can you be cool, Vader? Hmm?
Yeah.
Can you be cool?
Famously chill, Vader. God damn it! This is so dumb.
But even Vader is just like, hey, leave or I'll kick your butts. Like, he's not even just going straight to, I'm going to kill you. He's saying, hey, I'm giving you one last chance. Get out of here.
Even Vader's like, I'm at the end of my rope here, so this is your last chance. Just get out before things get unpleasant. I don't want to do anything I'll regret.
And then, with his like second line of dialogue in the whole issue, Viscount Tardy goes, "You insult my honor, Lord Vader."
Takes off his glove and slaps him. I demand satisfaction. And it is basically just like, all right, well, you came at me, bro.
You dare raise your hand to a Lord of the Sith?
And then the drawing, he doesn't appear to be activating the light. He appears to be drawing his lightsaber as if it's in a scabbard.
I mean, we've had Jedi do that before, where they like pull out their hilt and ignite the blade all in one motion.
Yes, but it's weird. And then he's just like, die, motherfucker. And
He's racks the hell out of him.
And once again, it's like, finally, Vader's a murderer. Remember that, pretty famously.
Why he didn't just start with this is beyond me, but
Yeah, because like
because we need an issue of a comic book is why.
But also, it's just like the idea about like it just makes Vader so weak that he's just like, I don't want to piss off the local authorities. Vader don't need that kind of heat on him.
Vader doesn't want to increase from 3 stars to 4 stars.
Exactly. God damn it, they're going to send the National Guard after me. I did always love in Grand Theft Auto when eventually you were the Army's problem. You were such an issue. We have to call in the military on you. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Okay. And then Leia's like, well, fuck you, man. I had a gun on me the whole time.
Yeah, Leia with the thigh holster pulling out a gat.
And Vader's response is, I knew it. The little hypocrite is found out. That you might kill me with that blaster, but my main concern is you got on me for having a weapon. Oh, you hypocrite.
Also, like, why would Vader care about any of this? Oh, boy.
This is a dude who storms in and murders, and that's why we love him. We love Vader as a mass murderer.
I mean, Vader is at his best when he is an unstoppable boogeyman.
That's exactly what he is. This shows you why that's the case, too, because the second you have him acting like this, he's no longer remotely scary or threatening. He's so weak in this issue. Oh, it pisses me off so much. I'm like, how dare you? But anyway, we get the recreation of the Empire thing of him going, not today.
and his face getting ever wider as Vader hunkers down. Like, I cannot overstate just how wide
Yeah.
Infantino is making the face mask
If
here.
you're not watching us on YouTube, you need to be just to see this alone. My God, it's insane.
It's like they took the bottom of his chin and the top of his head and just smooshed it, and the aspect ratio is widening.
I don't know why that is like an instinct for him to use that.
Yeah, I don't know. But, because, yeah, it's really changing the shape of his mask, and because the shape of his mask is, like, totally meant to evoke World War I era, like, German gas masks and Stahlhelm, right? That's the, like, design of the Vader helmet is supposed to evoke that sort of thing. And so by changing the shape of the face to be a little less triangular and more, or it's still triangular, but more of like an obtuse triangle, and instead of an equilateral, it becomes like goofier and goofier to look at.
Yeah, it's really silly. I mean, it makes the whole thing silly. Okay.
Okay, and this is where we get the Mission Impossible mask pulling off moment of this whole issue. Because Vader thinks he's killed Tardy, so now Vader wins.
Makes no difference now, Princess. Visconti is dead. There will be no loan. There will be no new X-Wing fighter squadron.
I like that he's so concerned about a squadron.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, if you get 8 more X-Wings, we're fucked. Yeah, it is sort of, well, I mean, that's the thing that kind of, I do like the idea of telling a story of how they get the ships. That's
sure.
It's one of the things I love in Last Jedi when they're on the ship with the guy who's dealing X-Wings and TIE fighters. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea that there are like war profiteers.
One of my favorite Star Wars things is Star Wars Rebels, and like the whole 3rd and 4th seasons of that is all about like putting the Rebel fleet together and how they find all these disparate pieces. Like, okay, here's an episode where we're dealing with the creation of the B-Wing. Here's an episode where we like recruit a bunch of A-Wing fighter pilots because that's a very specific skill set.
Exactly. That stuff is very cool. Like that's the It's interesting, but this is just dumb because this isn't even about that. This is just about getting a loan to be able to buy X-Wings. And yes, as you bring up the idea that Vader's like that the Emperor's like, this is such a concern. I better send my number 1 guy on this one.
Yeah, screw hunting rogue Jedi. Vader needs to stop a bank loan.
But then this is yeah, because at this point Yoda's still out there, so like and of course, what they don't know, but we know, is Ahsoka's out there too. But
Ahsoka's roaming around out there. I'm going to say dollars to donuts. Quinlan Voss is still kicking around somewhere.
You don't keep a Quinlan Voss down.
Nah.
Never, man. And hey, according to Samuel Jackson, Mace Windu's still out there too. So
sure, why not?
Hey, if Samuel Jackson needs to believe that, then sure.
If Darth Maul can survive being chopped in half, I'm going to say anyone's on the table until I see their corpse literally burning, like like Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Qui-Gon's gone for sure, but anybody else could still be out there. I still hold out hope for Kit Fisto.
And look, we got the line, somehow Palpatine returned, so literally anybody is kind of on the table.
Qui-Gon's on the table too, then, actually, come to think of it. There's the movie I want to write. It's just like all your favorite Jedi are back somehow, because we can do that now. Anyway, but Leia's like, of course he's dead. In fact, he's been dead for over a month. What?
But there shall still be a loan.
That's a robot.
The minute they introduced live model decoys, LMDs, into this issue, I was like, I retroactively painted this as a Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. issue.
Yeah, I mean,
this is such Marvel spy bullshit.
It's such Marvel spy bullshit, yeah. Or like I said, this could totally be a G.I. Joe plot as well. Absolutely.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and that's what Hama is, of course, good at. But
important guy was a robot the whole time.
If this was Duke or Scarlet and Cobra Commander, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. If this was Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan and they were up against Baron von Strucker, 100%.
It carefully the Viscount's body, Commander Willard and I were the only ones privy to Tardy's death. We decided to send a droid in his place. A carefully programmed, non-sentient droid, of course. I like the way that's in small. Don't.
Well, no, that last little caveat there is real concerning when it comes to droid ethics.
Oh, yeah. This book is forcing us to talk about that, and we swore we wouldn't.
Because that implies that there are sentient droids, which opens that can of worms wide open.
Yep. And so anyway, they were like, we knew that this was going to be the case. And in fact, we actually needed you to kill him so that they wouldn't know he's a robot on the way out, because that's where they scan. And he's like, what? Have I been hoodwinked?
So, the plan within the plan is that they needed Darth Vader to show up here and foil their plan.
Yep.
So they
Plan
count
the plan to fail.
Whoa.
It's classic, like, Ocean's 11 kind of stuff.
This is some Ocean's 12 stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yes, it's the really convoluted one. I've seen Ocean's 12 a few times. I still can't figure out everything that's going on in that movie. It is utter nonsense.
Well, especially when they destroy the fabric of reality by introducing Bruce Willis into that film.
I think my brain started bleeding a little bit during that scene. I was like, no, it does not compute, you know?
The actress playing the character cannot look like the actress from real life.
Well, because then it's like, well, then where does this end? Does Danny Ocean look like George Clooney? And does that guy look like Brad Pitt? And what?
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, but Bruce Willis needed a cameo.
So, we had to force you, not one of your hirelings, into killing the Viscount so that we could record you doing it and show it to the people of
because
Argyle.
R2 fires up his now more Star Wars hologram looking thing. And he's like, check it out. We've got it on tape. And in fact, let's go to 3PO. We also have it on film. We have a canister of film. It's on 16 millimeter or VHS.
Yeah, we've got the bootlegs of Vader killing the Viscount.
That's going around. This is about to go viral, Vader. God damn it. This is horrible.
So, we've got a recording of 3PO saying, "This is C-3PO on remote from outside the main police headquarters. In the hand, I hold the tape of this.
Coming to you live via satellite. It's C-3PO." God damn it. It's horrible. And yeah, it being the 80s, of course. Yes, he's holding up physical,
reel-to-reel tape, yeah.
He's got an actual, cassette tape and a reel of film, yeah.
I mean, look, Star Wars technology, in my opinion, always has to be a little bit chonky and over-designed.
Well, and
that's part of the appeal.
They always talk about, data tapes, but you rarely see them. But it is always we received a tape, so yes.
Right. Well, and we know that in this galaxy, there is a tape floating around out there that is just the original Star Wars, because that's what Valance saw.
Lest we forget, that is always one of our favorite things, right? It's just actually, he saw a copy of Star Wars.
Because there's no other way he would know certain details that he does.
Yeah, I saw the movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. This is where we get the real insanity of this plan.
Because he's like, well, what does it matter then? The guy's still dead. You're not going to get the loan. Actually,
it already has. Instead of the bonds and deeds usually presented as the collateral, I presented the crown jewels of Alderaan. They are unmistakable and virtually priceless. The appraisers verified their authenticity on the spot, and the loan was approved immediately.
So basically, she's just going, I just had goods that were so undeniable, they didn't even have to be analyzed.
Where did she get these?
Well, because that's a good question. I was also thinking, well, thank God they weren't on Alderaan when it was destroyed, right?
With the royals of Alderaan minus one Princess Leia?
Yeah, I mean, it means that she already had to have them for some reason.
I guess they were on the Tantive 4, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, too, is where did she have them? Because, of course, she's captured at the beginning of the movie. It would have to be.
Yeah, but I guess if they were on the Tantive 4, the Empire would have had them.
Tear the ship apart, Vader said.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're telling me it would have just been like, huh, incredibly rare and famous jewels. Yeah, let's just leave those. Oh, this makes no sense.
Okay, so Leia goes on to explain. Our big problem was at the phony vice count. We knew the sensors would spot him at customs, and once Tardy was discredited, our loan would be canceled. That is why we needed your help.
Yeah.
Tardy couldn't just disappear, he had to die. You were the only one on Argyle with the motive to murder him and the resources to make his death look natural. I mean, as natural as being sliced in half with a lightsaber could look.
I guess real, I guess is what she means now.
But you don't think anyone's going to look at the body? That he's a robot?
Well, also, this also brings up into a whole thing. If Leia could get this loan with the jewels of Alderaan, what did she need Tardy for in the first place?
Just to follow the protocols of this place, I guess?
But she couldn't figure that. It doesn't seem that complicated. You basically just go there, and her whole thing is like, we even avoided a bunch of them because these jewels are so famous that they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, of course, jewels of Alderaan. No, it makes no sense.
Okay,
Her incredibly complex plan doesn't even work, really, to me.
but then there's a reversal on the reversal.
Oh, yeah, because Vader's no dummy, okay?
Because she says, oh yes, you'll have to get rid of those laser blasters for me. We wouldn't want any of the nasty complications with weapons laws, would we?
She says as she's twirling a blaster in a way I don't understand the physics of.
Yeah, don't worry about that one.
She's twirling it sideways, not like this.
Not vertically, yeah.
It makes no
Yeah,
sense.
that would be passing through her fingers
Yeah,
in some very interesting ways. Anyway.
And so it's just like, I know you're going to get rid of this body, so why don't you just go ahead and get rid of this blaster while we're at it, too?
So, Vader says, oh, I'll just have to include them in the package when I smuggle out my real primary objective.
He's like, but what? What? No? What was that?
So, this is the last page of this issue, so let's just cut to the chase.
That I love, too. It's just like, we're running out of time. I better explain all this.
Vader wanted the crown jewels of Alderaan, and that's what he did. He bribed some bank officers who took the jewels as collateral to take the jewels.
Yeah.
And that's apparently his whole reason for being here was to get the jewels, but he had to trick Leia into presenting them as collateral so that he could get them, but then he needed the assassins to kill the Vice Count. But But she didn't really need the Vice Count because of the jewels, and he was only here to get the jewels. Oh, this doesn't make any sense.
No, it's so convoluted.
Vader says, to tidy things up, Princess. If Tardy was exposed as a droid, the loan surely would have been questioned, and the jewels would be missed. So the loan has to go through so that no one questions that the jewels are safe somewhere.
Correct.
And so long as everyone thinks the jewels are safe somewhere, Vader can walk away with them unquestioned.
Bing, bang, boom.
Why does Vader want the crown jewels of Alderaan?
No idea. Because I love that money, baby. You'll get your pet. I do love you'll get your piddling toy fighters, Princess. But who cares? Because it was far more important to draw these baubles. That's like his use of the word baubles.
And the last line Vader goes out on this issue is just speaks to everything that we disliked about this book, because he says, I also thought to take advantage of the opportunity to advise you against mentioning any of this to the Arguan authorities. It would only do evil things to your credit rating.
Oh, good luck getting a home loan, Princess.
Okay, so
this is horrible.
This is horrible.
Come on, no, I'm back to my. This is the worst issue of this comic.
Yeah, I don't disagree, because the plot was absolutely nonsensical and useless, and it was a bunch of like double reversals and hijinks that ultimately came out to nothing. Because why would Vader want some shiny jewelry?
And just both characters are horribly represented.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awful stuff. And that, once again, that makes me sad, because Larry Hama, super talented guy, who I'm a huge fan of. But yeah. Anyway, Man, we're jumping way ahead with a. I don't understand how we haven't even had Jedi yet, but somehow we're doing the Last Jedi adaptation next week.
Ah, yes. The next issue is called The Last Jedi, which is
Yeah.
interesting for a number of reasons, not least of which is because the next issue served pretty prominently as inspiration for that film.
Yeah, that was the rumor.
Am I lying? Yes. But
But you remember
isn't it fun to think about?
when they announced the title, people did seize on. There was an issue. Is there clues in there for?
No.
No. That's like
It's an evocative title.
that's like when they named Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character John Blake in Dark Knight Rises, and somebody found some obscure Batman thing that had a character named John Blake. Because of course that's a bland enough name that somebody did find it, and they were like, "Are there clues?" And no,
He's Robin.
he's
is the
Robin.
answer.
You should go by his legal name. By the way, was his name Robin Blake,
Yeah,
was
would
he
have to
John,
be.
or was he John Robin?
I think it was Robin John Blake.
Robin John Blake. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was what that was what we were waiting for. Anyway, terrible issue, worst of the whole series so far, in my opinion. Anyway, but if you want more from talking about things we do like, maybe, and some things we don't as well, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.podbean.com/punchup. There you can get cool exclusive bonus content, like I just said, as well as help support this show and all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network.
I can't believe this was worse than the Droids issue. That just baffles me.
At least they were on brand.
It's true. If you want to, one of the ways to support the show is come join us over on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. Don't forget that @ symbol. That'll redirect correctly.
We've learned that recently ourselves. So
Yes, we did. There you can, one of the best ways to watch this show is to watch along with us so you can see the comic as we're reading it. But there's also plenty of other things over on that YouTube page, including all of our other shows and some of the YouTube exclusive stuff like Punch Up Goes to the Movies.
no.
God damn it. This is killing me.
Ugh.
At the very end.
Yeah, it had to happen again. All right, let's wrap this up because Brendan's going to be on here in a couple minutes. So
Yeah.
just start from the YouTube again.
Yeah. Of course, one of the best ways to support us is over on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/punchupentertainment. Don't forget the @ That's very important, apparently. But there you can watch this show as well as all the other shows on the network, including some of our YouTube exclusive stuff like Punch Up Goes to the Movies. I think recently we talked about some apes over on there.
We sure did. We like them.
Yeah, good apes. Apes strong together.
Apes together, strong indeed. You can also get our interview series. Give Me Five is also on there now too.
I believe so as well. And due to podcast time travel, I think the first couple of episodes of Punch Up Plays might be up there, where Elliot Lewis and I start playing through the Mass Effect franchise. Very excited about that.
I hope they are, and we don't have to cut that out if it's not the case.
No, because now I'm setting myself a deadline. But
There you go.
least ways, Yeah, like, comment, subscribe over there is a great way to support us and everything we do here.
Indeed. But I think that's going to wrap things up this week.
Yes, indeed, because as always, I have been Mike Gergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And may the panel be with you.